Welcome back to week 4 of Rex Radio. It's your guy Kai, Kai to the sky, your host for today's episode on self-improvement. Shout out every person that is in it. We have 10 people in this podcast today. So we got Talir, JQ, JJ, Lisa, Natalie, Sarah, Steve, and Alia. When you guys get the opportunity to, answer your first question, I'll ask each person a little icebreaker. I just want to jump into the segment for today. So today's segment is self-improvement, and guys, there's things that we can all do to improve, but I want us to be able to offer each other advice on how we can improve in certain areas. So for today, I'm going to start off with New Year's resolution. I know it's March, it's almost April, but it's important that we had made a New Year's resolution when the year started. So if any of you guys, whoever wants to raise their hand first, has a New Year's resolution they want to share and update us on, let us know. And if you don't have a New Year's resolution, let us know why you did not make one. So what is your New Year's resolution? You guys can raise your hands. If nobody raises their hands, I'll go first. My New Year's resolution, I wanted to have 4 different sources of income this year. I'm almost there. I'm at 2. I'm 3, 2, 3. It depends, how the climate of society is going, that it's at 2 or 3. Or if I'm feeling lazy that day, whether I want to wake up and trade stocks or I don't. So I'm almost on my goal. It's March. I want to see how I could make some adjustments to balance my time better so that I could get to that 4 source of income without being drained, without being tired. So that was my number 1 New Year's resolution. Anyone else? Nobody raised their hand yet. Oh, we got Natalie. I'm gonna unmute her. Hi, Natalie. How are you?
Hey, y'all. Name's Natalie. I go by Rare. My New Year's resolution would be to do more self-care, kind of take some more time out of my busy schedule to kind of slow down. So I kind of have the opposite. I just do a lot, and then sometimes I forget to take a break, and then your body takes that break for you. So I'm trying to manage and schedule in time to just stop and enjoy life a little bit more. Try to hang out with my friends, do some more Zoom paint nights. That's kind of what we have right now since we're in the pandemic. But yeah, that's what I got going on.
All right, I'm gonna jump right into Lisa.
Hi. So my New Year's resolution was to be more purposeful with my actions, because I used to, for a long time, do things literally just because I wanted to. And it's commendable for some people because it takes bravery, but it's not something I have to force myself to do. So I'd rather just do things for a reason other than because I wanted to.
Okay. And we're going to jump right into Talir.
Hey. Oh my god, my voice. The name's Talir. Anyways, so my New Year's resolution is not really much of a resolution. It's kind of just trying to continue to go down the path that I'm going down and to reach out and start to join more opportunities like I always do. And just to continue having a good year, I guess. A better year than last year for sure. That's something that I hope to have. So yeah.
And that's good. And for those that spoke on a New Year's resolution, those are all great resolutions, and I hope that you guys can continue to make the strides to make those things come true. But for those that did not put their hands up, was it because you guys did not have a New Year's resolution, or is that something you just don't practice in your life? I see Jerome shaking his head, so I'm gonna have to unmute Jerome.
Nah, I don't practice that. I set goals for myself, but I have no New Year's resolution. I don't do that stuff. I just have goals and I just execute them. If I execute them, I execute them. If I don't, just go back at it again. That's just me. I have my own motivation in a sense, so honestly, it is what it is.
Okay, so do you ever find yourself in a position where maybe you're lacking motivation, and because you didn't maybe write down that New Year's resolution, you didn't accomplish as much as you thought you would have? Or do you find that no matter if you write things down, you always get your goals done within a reasonable time frame?
Sometimes I break sometimes. Sometimes I'd be like, yeah, I'm gonna do this. Doesn't happen. Just snap. It just, I don't know, just didn't happen for me. If it had, I tried, but if it didn't work, I either change the goal or I just try again. That's what it is for me.
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah.
I'm gonna jump into Alia. She has her hand up. I'm gonna unmute her.
Hi,
Hi, Alia. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm amazing. I'm hoping you're having a great week. So, did you raise your hand because you did not have a New Year's resolution, or because you did?
I did not. When I was back in school when I was very young, our teachers used to make us write them, and I was like, "What am I supposed to write? Like, why would I just randomly reflect on my life and be like, okay, this is what I need to change?" I'm more of a person that goes with the flow, so it's for me. It's like whenever I feel that it's the right time and I'm ready, that's when I should try to have a goal. So yeah, for me, New Year's resolution like that, you shouldn't just appoint a specific day in order to be like, okay, I'm gonna change myself this year. For some people it works, but for me it's like it's more of a personal experience. So whenever you're ready, I think that's when you should do things, and it's not always like completely changing yourself. It's more like a shift, like a slight shift that happens over time. It takes years for those things to happen. Yeah.
Yeah, I hear you. And honestly, I've been a person that I never always used to have a New Year's resolution. I still, to this day, find it like very challenging to make a goal in January or even December and continue to follow it through all the way through the entire new year. So now the question is, how do we set goals for ourselves without having a New Year's resolution? How do we set goals for ourselves so that we can get to the next level or grow as an individual? Did anybody here have any personal tips they can give on how they feel like they go about accomplishing tasks throughout the day? Because I know that there's probably some youth that are probably listening to the podcast that are in school or working and they just don't know how to balance themselves properly or set goals in order to get to the next level. So does any person that wants to raise their hand have any tips for how somebody could do that? I'm gonna go, I think I see Rare first.
Hey y'all, so for goal setting, like for me, like I really like journaling, writing things down, but when I write them, it would be like prioritizing like what's the deadline for things and like how fast should I get them done, like comparing it to time management and being like, okay, how long is this task going to take me and should I do this first? It would be kind of mostly just breaking down what you need to get done, I would say.
Okay, I think Taylor put her hand up again.
I just had a quick question. Like, were you talking about long-term goals or like just like everyday to do stuff?
Let's go with long-term.
Okay, well, for me, I don't really I just go with the flow. Like whatever, if I find out of an opportunity, like I get an email today, I'm like, oh, like that's so cool, da da. Like that's not really something I plan, but then obviously like I take that as like a good opportunity and a good goal to have, and like I try to do it and like go with the program or whatever that I'm doing, right? So I feel like you should always like keep an open mind because goals can always come and like your life is always like changing and evolving, right? And like even though you have like a New Year's resolution, you never know what's gonna happen that year, and you never know what's gonna you're gonna stumble upon, right? Any obstacles or other opportunities, right? So if you're gonna you just have to I guess mentally and emotionally and even physically, if you want to prepare yourself to face any obstacles or just be happy with the opportunities that land on your plate and that you have in life, right? Be grateful for the things that you have and just, I guess, use your own method to work through those obstacles or work through those opportunities that you have.
And I feel that we're gonna jump right into Sarah.
Hello? Can you guys hear me?
I hear you. How are you?
I'm good. How are you? I would say the first thing for me personally when I'm setting goals is that I have to make sure that the goal I set, I'm doing it for myself and not for like the validation of others. So in terms of like school, when making a goal, like my goal for school right now this year is to finish off strong. Not doing that for my parents, doing that for me just because I want to feel good about myself and the work that I put in.
I hear you. We're gonna jump right into Jamie.
Here.
Yeah.
So I agree with everyone. With making goals. Another thing would be make sure that you're doing something that's actually realistic. I feel like a lot of people set goals where it's like, oh yeah, I believe I can do this, but they're not real, or they're not being honest with themselves. Also, what Talir said with long-term goals, things can change, things can happen. Like we don't know what the heck can happen tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? Like you could be so focused on, I guess, like becoming a doctor, and then in 6 months, like you can hear music and that can change your life, and then you're just like, the heck? I put everything into one thing, and then one day I woke up and I switched. Now I'm lost and I'm confused. So I'll take to make a goal that's realistic, and I don't know, long-term goals are kind of overwhelming for me. So I would do like little, like short-term goals, like a month or 2 months, where like I'm always checking up to see like I can keep I can keep my tracks. I can know what I'm doing all the time.
Yeah, I hear that. Be realistic. All right, Lisa, talk to me.
Hi, for me personally, it's to acknowledge how far that you've already come, because me now compared to me a couple years ago doesn't even have the same thought process or like decision-making skills. And that's actually changed my goals like long term.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's just appreciating how far you've come too.
I hear that. And now that I've heard you guys speak, I want to change up the whole feel of what's going on right now. So self-improvement is not always pretty. Sometimes you have to go through some ugly things, and you have to identify some ugly traits about yourself in order to improve. So what are some toxic traits that you feel like you have personally that you need to improve in order for you to become a better person? Now, for myself, just to open up you guys, I feel like I can be very petty sometimes, like listening to people. It can be a good thing or a bad thing. It could be like someone saying like, oh, you can't do that. And I'll be like, what? And because I'm so petty, I'll just do it just because you told me I couldn't do it. So it could be a good way in that regard. Or it could be like someone, I'm already planning on doing something, and then somebody's gonna tell me to go do it, but I was already planning to do it on my time. And I was like, because you believe that I wasn't gonna do it, I'm just not gonna do it to get you even more mad. So that's just something I have to work on in order to better myself. I see, okay, we'll go to Lear. I see your hand up first. Taylor, talk to me. What's going on in your life? What's toxic?
I would say two things that interconnect, definitely. And I feel like this is more on a personal level. So for me, I think I know for sure, and I didn't notice it till actually like a staff member pointed it out to me. But it's like I keep all my feelings to myself, and I never show if I'm like sad or like if I'm going through something in my life, right? And like no one ever knows that. And I feel like that's very toxic for me, because it's like once I keep my feelings like all to myself, it's like there's gonna be like one moment where you just explode and no one will know like what's going on. And you might like explode with anger or like cry, and like it's just, ugly. But that kind of ties in with another trait that I really have to get rid of, is like overthinking. I overthink so much, and I doubt myself to such an extent where like even my mom is like fed up with telling me like, you can do it, you can like, you don't need to doubt yourself, like it's possible and things like that. And I overthink like every move that I make in life, and that's like I guess, really bad, because you should like believe in yourself. And I think like I need to just believe in myself and like the decisions I make and just stand by them, right? Instead of like overthinking and like freaking out about it and getting stressed about it, right? So that's something I definitely want to change too.
I feel that one still. Overthinking, I would say, is my second toxic trait, which leads into my third one, which is me being a perfectionist. So it's like sometimes I can't even, like, everyone else is like, it's perfect. And I'm like, nah, like, it's just wrong. So we need to fix some about ourselves today. Pisces. Lisa had her hand up next. I just love you. Hold on. Okay, Lisa, tell me what's toxic. Let me know.
For me, I would guess that I need to let things go more than anything else, because I tend to hold on to the past. It's crippling. So that's something that I personally still have to work on. But I know that once I get over that, it's going to be like game over for the world.
All right, so my fault. I'm just not going to come off of you real quick. What do you think you need to do to get over that now? Like,
I don't even know, to be completely honest.
Okay. All right, so we're going to move on. But after this, the purpose of this is for us to share our toxicness so that we could maybe offer advice to one another, you know? So that now that you know that Taylor over things, now that you know that Lisa can't get over her past, now you know that I'm petty, what can we do to improve ourselves? We're going to focus on us three, and then we'll probably move on to the rest. So does anybody have any advice for the three of us? What could we do to improve ourselves?
So for Lisa, she says that she is a bit stuck in the past or thinking too much about the past.
Thinking too much.
Okay, so for that, I would say more so think about the future and visualize what you want to see, because then that ties into manifestation. What you want to see in your future is what you think about, and what you think about can translate into what actually you attract. So maybe like writing down like what's your future plans, what do you want to see in your life in the next couple of days, couple of months, and then next year. Like if you want to talk about goal setting, like you'd create those goals, but as well like self-reflect and be like, what is realistic?
Okay, perfect. And Lisa, if you want to ask a question, you know, and like rebuttal, like, you know, quick, go ahead right now, like, you know, if you feel like, you know, but if you're not, that's cool.
Hello?
Yes.
Okay, so for me, it's not really actions that I did or things that happened. Well, it is things that happened. It's more like other people's actions to me and how I kind of like just let it happen. And that's what I can't get over. It's just like, wow, you really let them do you like that? But it's not really anything that I can like manifest out of.
That was a tough one. Does anybody else have my fault? I got JQ right here. I'm on mute.
Lisa, like I don't want to be the one to pick on you or whatever. I know Rare just said your name too. But advice that I would give you is remember what you just said. You said with setting your goals, you remember like you can appreciate how far you came. Right? If someone did you dirty and you got over, you overcame it, why would you put yourself back in that mindset or that situation? Moving forward, if you're past it, don't go back. Right? If you're in a new space, if you accomplish a certain goal when someone did you dirty, or you took an L or something, remembering what happened, it could even be a month ago. If you overcame it in that month, why put your mind back in that same position? Now you're just going backwards instead of forward, right? So I think you really have the tools. It's just how to use it or actually doing it.
Okay, I hear that. And I want to say for myself, I have some sort of PTSD in my life. I grew up in a household where my mom was the only person to look up to because I didn't have a male father figure that showed me the way. So I had to learn how to become a man myself. But I kind of imprinted on my older brother Jamal, and I was like, maybe this could be the person that could show me the way. And then he passed away in 2005. He had an asthma attack and he drowned at a pool party, and I witnessed it. So that carried over to me for so long, and I found myself living in the past, being so angry about something that I was angry about in 2005. I'm still angry about it in 2016, in 2017. So I had to figure out a way to let go of all that anger. So, you know, I put it into my spirituality. I put it into prayer. I put it into put that energy into like a lot of my talents, even giving back into community and relating with other people that have been through the same experience that I've been through. So it's like, I don't have to be so angry because there's other people that are angry too. And it's like, honestly, I want to be able to take some of their burden, but I can't do that if I'm always living in my past. So I had to figure out a way how to let that go. So that I can improve, so I could be in this position. So I know what you're going through it could be tough, like, you know, it could be tough, but the bright side of it is one day somebody that's going through the same thing will be able to look toward you because no one will understand them better than you do. So that's the most important thing about whenever you're going through anything. One day someone's gonna look toward you to, you know, help them go through that. So you have to, you know, take the small strides, you know, it's not a full day change. I'm gonna go into Alia real quick. Alia, let me know.
Hi, so this one's for overthinking because that is also something I find challenging at times, and I have to like stop myself and I have to be like, okay, relax. These are just thoughts. And how I was able to kind of overcome and control my thoughts was by realizing that they're just basically conversations in my head. So I was like, okay, why not just start saying them out loud? And once I started saying the things I was thinking out loud, I realized that like half of those are just so invalid and just so pointless. So I was able to just eradicate them and just be like, okay, this is not important, this is important. And it helped clear things up for me. So I think I'm not really talking to other people because nobody will 100% understand you or your thoughts because you've been there for your whole life. So you know why you're saying something a certain way and people are maybe like, oh, why are you saying that? So talk to yourself. Like it will be weird maybe for your family, like you're just like standing in front of it. Because for me, it's like I stand in front of a mirror and I just talk to myself, whatever is bothering me. And then I feel fine after a talk. Like I give myself a pep talk or even walk myself through stuff. So that's something that can be helpful.
And Taylor, feel free to share how you feel about that advice or
Okay, so I'm gonna get to that advice after I talk about Lisa. Like I have a bunch of things to say about a bunch of things that were said, but first for Lisa, I don't want to say like I want to say like I can really relate because I was once that girl who really like stuck to the past, and like I always thought like why I let some people like treat me the way they did. And like I always think about that. Like even recently I had an incident and Alia was there too, and like I came home and I was texting her. I was like, I don't know why I even let that person just like treat me like that and like walk all over me like that, right? And it kind of still bothers me till this day. But I would say like, to be honest, you can't just change these thoughts overnight. And one important factor that took me so long to really understand is like time. Time will really play a huge role, and like as time goes on, you'll just genuinely move on, right? There's like so many incidents that have happened in my life and so many feelings that I've had, like, oh, you know, this person walked all over me, that person did this, da da da. And I would always think that. But then just the other day, like I was telling my mom, like, hey, like, you know, one thing that I really admire and that I like is like I just naturally moved on, where I don't even remember those things that happened, and like time just played a huge role where you just naturally move on. And even though like it's frustrating and hard like right now because you're having those thoughts about your past, I feel like in the chat Ilya says like patient is key. And it's just like a natural process that you just gotta let go like naturally, and like it'll happen, you know? So that's one thing I wanted to say for Lisa. And then for the perfectionist thing that Kai had mentioned, I myself, like you said, Pisces, I myself was and still am a little bit of a perfectionist. I was more of a perfectionist in the past than now. But one thing I kind of understood is because I kept like planning things and like running certain stuff for like school clubs and all. I was like, okay, like everything's supposed to go this way, right? And like I always wanted it to go that way and like to be perfect, right? But then over time, because I had like so much experience in that, I just feel like, you know, you just got to be prepared for the worst case scenario, and like things just don't go as planned or as you want it to. And that's the same way in life, right? Like life just doesn't go the way you want it to and as you planned it to. So you can't just, you know, sometimes you just gotta give up and be like, okay, I'm just gonna prepare for like the worst case scenario, for anything that's gonna like come at me, and I'm gonna like, you know, battle it on my own and like overcome it, right? Whether it's an event that you're planning for and it's running, or whether it's like something that's happening like life-wise, right? So I think that's a major thing, like just kind of coming and accepting reality, like what Jack Hughes said about how like, you know, you just got to be present and in reality. And so just accepting that things just don't go the way they usually do or you want them to. And then with what Alia said, I agree with that, you know, but sometimes it's just like a trait that's really hard to get over. But again, like time just plays a huge role. So if you want that change to happen, like emotionally and mentally, then that change will happen. It just takes time, and it's a different amount of time for everyone. So yeah.
I just read in the chat that Alia said patience is key. So I agree that, you know, it's gonna take patience and a lot of dedication for us, me, you, and Lisa to get over our toxic traits, you know. So, but enough about our toxic traits. We're gonna move on to the rest of the group. Toxic traits, or even open it up for people to talk to you. You kind of said something that kind of led to a next question that I had. So I just want to bring up that question real quick. So I wanted to ask you guys, what do you believe is the biggest challenge for anyone wishing to improve his or her own motivation toward overcoming procrastination? Or even just motivation for life? Like, because sometimes I find like there's just no motivation for life. I just don't want to do anything. So what could we do? I'll just throw out one. I believe you should change your environment. I don't know. For me, I just can't be in one place for too long. I start going crazy. Even though I'm a homebody, it's like I just have to step outside to do certain things. There's certain things I want to do for my life that I believe has to be done outside of my house, and then there's certain things that I believe that I want to have done that have to be done out of the city. So I'm gonna just leave. So I'm gonna go to I think I seen JQ's hand go up.
Yeah, I'd say like the biggest thing why people don't evolve or go on or change their ways is fear, and that's self-fear. But at the end of the day, bro, no one can stop you but yourself, right? As much, even like in a legal situation, like a court can't stop you, right? They like, if you still want to do something, you'll still do it, but get in trouble for it. You still have the final say, right? So that free choice is always yours. I would say it's fear that would stop anyone from doing anything.
Yeah, I feel that. Let me hear from one of the women. I'm gonna go with Sarah real quick. Sarah, what is something that somebody or yourself that what you would do to overcome procrastination or to just motivate yourself to want to do something?
Honestly, what I do for myself is I kind of take a look at where I am in life right now, and I'm just like, if things aren't going so well, I'm like, do you really want to stay like this for the rest of your life, or do you want to in the future actually be able to comfortably rest? And so for like procrastination, when you say procrastination, I think of school. And for like, I don't know, because we're all different. So for me personally, sorry, I lost my train of thought. I don't know. Honestly, I would just tell people, look at yourself now and then look at where do you want to be in the future and how do you want to get there. Procrastination usually isn't the way to go. It just brings on more stress. So that's how I see it.
Yeah, I hear that. and I feel that.
All right, so motivation. For me, in the morning time, I try to stick to a routine. So I would wake up, say like 3 things I'm grateful for, drink my tea or water, get hydrated, because water in itself, it activates the organs and the brain in the morning so you could think clearly. And then lastly, I would listen to like a 10-minute YouTube video about motivation, or I do 10 minutes of meditation. And then after that, I'm like, all right, let me look at my red book and get it going on. Like I have this one $2 journal that I continuously buy from the dollar store, and I write down my goals and everything in it. So in the morning, I look at it and I'm like, okay, I'm ready. But then additionally, I do want to say, like, make your space as comfortable as possible so you feel motivated, because it's also your environment that can impact you too. So like my whole wall on this side of my room is my vision board. I covered the whole wall and like stars, paintings, affirmations, photos, all types of stuff, and that kind of helps me. So I hope one of these things help y'all.
So I feel that. To be honest, I end up doing stuff like that too. I find when I wake up, I'll be praying, and then some sort of motivation hits me, and I'll get like a poem or like some part of a song, and then I don't know. I just end up doing like 3 or 4 things before an hour goes by, and then all of a sudden I'm woken up. But I find when I don't do that, I end up laying in my bed for longer than I want to. So I'm gonna keep to that routine and just recognize that can be a routine. Talir,
I literally have this on my wall. I just wanted to show you all right quick.
32 tips for self-improvement. You want to read that out?
Sure. So the first category, self-improvement. Start now, focus, be a mentor, be accountable, be intentional, love thyself, keep a promise, seek support, disconnect, embrace challenge. Secondarily, self-love. So that includes a balanced diet, sleep well, exercise, meditate, hydrate, get checked. Next category, self-confidence. Thank yourself, forgive yourself, focus on what you can change. Positive energy, use affirmations. Below that, I guess it's this way. All right, so goal setting, define your goal, clarify your priorities, set deadlines, and I'm not sure what that last one is because I don't know. And then lastly, time management. Plan ahead, don't procrastinate, prioritize, say no, disagreements, I guess, delegate, time track.
Now, you see, like when you think of self-improvement, you're thinking like, when I think of it personally, I didn't even know you have to do so many steps in order to improve, right? It's like, you just think that, okay, I'm just at a new level, you know? But it's like, for those of you guys seeing what we're talking about, like a lot of stuff we're talking about was on that. So it's like, there's so much things you need to do in order for you to improve spiritually, to improve physically, mentally, emotionally, etc., financially, in any category in life.
Holistically in general.
You know, all the words with the Lee at the end, right? Some Lee, and like, you know, you have to do a lot in order to get to that next level, right? So it's like, take your time with it, have fun with it, enjoy it. It's to be honest, the hard way is a lot more fun than the easy way. The easy way can be boring, and then the easy way can also be as stressful as the hard way. So might as well take your time and improve than to just sit there and not improve and you're still stressing, right? So I rather stress and know that I'm reaching the next level at the same time, because there's a joy on the next side of that stress. So we just talked about that real quick. Is anybody? Oh, today's hand was raised. Real quick.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, so I kind of agree with what everyone's been saying, but I also think like if you're trying to be motivated, sometimes you don't have to do it like on your own, right? And I'm not saying like to go and look for motivation in someone else that will help motivate you. I feel like sometimes when you talk things out, like when you keep things in your mind, like it could like all get clustered up, right? But if you talk things out and find someone you trust to like just listen to your thoughts, right? They like, you don't even have to hear them like their advice or anything. Just have them listen to your thoughts. Maybe just talking about it out loud is like a better way to help you like figure out your thoughts and like see what you actually want. And then from there, once you know what you want, you can like figure out on your own, or like talk to another person or the same person and like get advice as to where to go next, because you want to achieve like what you want, right? So I think that's the best thing that you could do. Or like, I don't know, go on like a nice long drive and like think, because that's what I do. Play like some loud music and just think about it, and like go on a nice long drive and like see what you want. And then at the end of the day, if you know what you want, then that itself will motivate you to do like to improve, right? So I feel like just finding what you want, and then at the same time making the bold decisions in life to achieve what you want. Because I feel like what JQ was talking about, like the fear and like being scared to like take that step forward and like making the decisions, I feel like that's something a lot of people do. I myself am like that, right? So I feel like just being bold, taking those decisions, and like standing by the choices you make are like the best things to do too.
And I agree with what everyone's been saying so far. I just want to bring back up, we went through 4 out of the 10 of our toxic traits. So, nobody's getting away from the question, We're really going to see how we can help improve one another. So just a quick reminder that Jerome said one of his toxic trait is that he doesn't feel like, he has to compete with anybody. He just goes at his own speed, he's in his own world, not saying he doesn't, try to, work with others, it's just, he feels like, he doesn't need to try and be something he's not, right? So if any of you guys have like, anything you guys want to say about that, or give him any advice on how you can improve or, do better work ethic, we can go ahead. But if that's not being, you guys, so we have Lisa.
Hi. So maybe your competition isn't other people. Maybe it's the you from yesterday, because I know that I'm not the same as other people, and you don't know what other people are doing with their day, but you know what you did yesterday and how you could do better today. That's my spiel.
Okay, I feel that. And Jerome, if you feel that you want to, throw in some, to defend yourself, or to disagree, or even agree, go ahead.
I think I agree with that statement too, because I feel the same, because a lot of times I am not really bothered by what other people do or they say. I'm just in my own zone and I go at my own pace. And a lot of times I do wonder, like, is there something wrong with me? Like, why am I not competing? But then, like, my mom always told me, she's like, your competition is with yourself. So, like, just try to do better and just look at your own pathway and see where you can go next.
I hear that. And I want to say, like, I don't think there's nothing wrong with you, because I agree with Jerome too. Like, I'm in my own world like 95% of the time. I also, my birthday just passed. I'm a Pisces. I actually had to do a whole study on Pisces recently, just because people keep telling me Pisces are a certain way, and I'm like, I'm nothing like that. What are you talking about? So I had to go and research myself to get the facts for myself, just to realize I'm everything that they said, but there's a little bit of a difference. And just
exactly,
I found out that, and I already know this, but all Pisces are in their own world like 95% of the time. Like, we're daydreamers. So sometimes when you guys are talking, I'll just end up talking to myself. Like, I don't know how to turn it off or on. It's just bad. But it's like, it's not a bad thing. It just means that your creativity level is going to be at a next level when you want to express yourself. And sometimes it's hard for people to understand that because they're not as creative. But it's not a bad thing.
Yeah. It just takes time to understand that, right? Like, there are certain things about us that are like completely, entirely unique.
I feel you on that. I just want to get someone else to share some quick. Where's Steve? Steve's back? Where's Steve? Where is he in this scenario? All right, we're gonna go to. All right, Sarah. I'm just picking on people at this point. Sarah, talk to me. What's toxic about you? Like, what do we need to improve, or what do you feel like you need to improve in order to get yourself to that next level? What's that toxic thing?
My toxic trait is actually the opposite of Jerome's toxic trait.
Oh.
So how Jerome says he feels like he's not in a competition or he doesn't watch other people that hard. My biggest downfall is comparing my life to other people's lives. That's, yeah.
Wow, we're opposites. This is new to me. Okay, hold on. Nah. I have the first question, guys. Why do you... I know you can't explain why you do that, but do you feel like there's something in somebody else's life that is so good that you want? Or that is there something you feel like you're just missing in your life that you're comparing yourself?
No. Sort of. So like for me, it's like watching other people who seem to be doing well in life. So like they're going on trips, all the while they have a nice job, they started their business, they're doing well in school. But then at the same time, it's like, I don't know that. That's just what they post on social media. For all I know, they could be capping. Like they're liars. And I'm just reading too deep into it. But it's something that I need to get over. And I'm trying to get over. So.
Okay. And I also want to say, like, I don't know necessarily if people are capping sometimes on the internet. I feel like sometimes the internet is their escape from their reality that they're not showing you. So they're showing you the good time, you know, but the reason why they're trying to have a good time is because when they go back home and behind closed doors, it's not the greatest. So they needed that escape. So it's like, I don't try to compare myself with celebrities and stuff like that, because like I know people like we'll use an artist like Meek Mill, for example. Like Meek Mill, like one of the best artists to me, you know, and the man does everything like nice and like, you know, he looks nice, he dressed nice, he gets a woman, all sort of stuff. But I don't want to be Meek Mill because at the end of the day, Meek Mill is always getting into certain situations and stuff like that I just don't want to be in. So it's like, there's nothing about your life that I can use motivation, but I'm not gonna compare myself to him because you just don't know what he did or what somebody else had to do to even get where they're at, you know? Like, you did see the vacation, but did you really see like the hours they put in behind the scenes to get that vacation? It's like, do you even want that for your life as well? Like, a lot of successful people will tell you don't sleep. Like, if you're a person that loves sleep, you don't want to hear that. You know, like, so for you, it's like, I see you, you know, I feel like you're doing amazing. Keep comparing yourself, you know, don't always look at it as a negative. Compare yourself, you know, you want to make sure you're the best in the room, but also you need other people to be great. So use that comparison in a positive way where it's like, okay, I'm comparing myself to you because I see greatness in you. If you're not on the same level as me, I need to motivate you to get to my level, or even I have to get to your level. You know, it doesn't have to be negative. I know that you possibly don't make it negative, but use that comparison and make it a positive. Taylor has a hand up.
Well, I was just gonna say pretty much the exact same thing that you were just saying. Like, you know, you never know what someone is actually going through, like deep down, right? Like, you know, it's just like whatever you see isn't everything that's going on in their life. So just because you see it doesn't mean like that's their life. Like, there's way more to it, right? And if you like put that onto yourself too, like maybe that person that you're looking at and is like, oh, you know, they're traveling, right? Maybe they're looking at you and being like, oh wow, like she's in an amazing college and like doing an amazing program and like such a wonderful life, right? So like, they might be thinking the same thing as you, but then if you put yourself in that position, you can be like, wait, but that's not all my life, right? Because there's more to that. There's more to you than just what like people see on like social media and like just on the outside, right? So I feel like you just got to like understand that. But like Kai said, like obviously, yes, like do compare to like better yourself and in order to like motivate yourself. So that's one thing. And then I've been like wanting to ask why Jerome and Ilya really think like not caring and like not like thinking like it's just them and not like focusing on the competition and all is a bad or toxic trait. Like I feel like that's a good thing, because in society there's a lot of people that like just keep like penetrating into your life, or like
it's 9 o'clock.
Sorry, so sorry. I will apologize right now.
Thank you for telling us the time.
That's our edit it out. Edit it. I'm sorry. But anyways, there's a lot of people.
Make that the intro.
Use it.
Anyways, so there's a lot of people out there that are so invested in the competition, so invested in like other people's lives and whatever, but like just you focusing on yourself and just, you know, that's all that matters, right? And like not caring about what other people says is like, I feel like that's a good thing, because for me especially, like I used to care a lot about what other people think and how other people judge me, and that's like really not the best thing, because society has so many different opinions, and comparing that, like what I just said, like connecting that to what Sarah was talking about, like society judges me from what's on the outside, right? So like not being able to like care about how other people think and like whatever is actually in some way like a good thing. So I don't think you should look at it as a toxic trait. I think it's a good thing. You focusing on yourself and like you matter.
Yeah, I hear that. Does Jerome or Elia want to?
I would like to say that yeah, that's true. It's just like we're growing up, and not even like at this age, but like throughout life, there are times when we do stop and wonder, like maybe it's someone very close to us who has said something, and then it like sets us off because we're just going in our stream or just ourselves, and then you realize you're like, wait, is there something wrong with me? Like when someone who's close to you, their behavior might change, and then you wonder, like, should I change it? But like at the end of the day, always remember that you're like by yourself and you have yourself. So it's gonna take time, and it's a good thing, right? At the end of the day, that means like even if you're at your lowest, you will always have yourself. Like, you know, it is true, we need someone at all, like especially at our lowest, at our highest, anytime we need someone we can like share good news with or like share our sad times with. And I've learned that you need to remember that you're a person too, and you can have your own back, and like no one can have your back like you do, and it's a nice thing to have that.
Yes, because you know yourself best.
True.
I'm gonna let, I think Rare's hand was up. I'm gonna let Rare say what you guys say.
I kind of lost my train of thought, honestly, but
let me know what you was toxic.
okay. What's toxic for me? I'm kind of an overthinker as well, and I feel like I'm too accessible. Like I think that I let way too many people get in touch with my energy, and then it leaves me burnt out and tired. So I can say that is my toxic trait, being too accessible and letting people too open to like giving my energy out.
I'm gonna let everyone else like let's remain and say their toxic trait, and then everyone can say like one thing, and then we'll wrap up for today. But who's remaining? I think Ilya, maybe Jamie never said their toxic trait. Yeah, I'm gonna go Jamie still.
I think I have similar toxic traits. So procrastination for sure, and self-fear.
Self-fear. All right. Want something for that, but hold on. Elia, let me know what's toxic. What do you have to fix about yourself?
A lot of things I could relate with everyone, but for me personally, it's that I get angry so quickly, and if someone says something that I don't agree with, I'm down to argue and prove the other person wrong. But it happens with very few people. Like, it's not like I won't argue with just anyone. It's like very specific people. And then I realize that like it's not that like it's not really, it's toxic towards certain people who think that they know best, and also who spread false information. Those kind of people that really like get on my nerves. I'm like, you know what, like stop spreading false information, stop saying the wrong things. That stuff, because I feel like especially in school, right? students are impressionable. And because of that, teachers often say things like from their personal lives, from their personal opinions about certain things, which may be incorrect, and they don't research properly, and they just say things. Um, and someone else will believe that, and then obviously we all have conversation, and we might say the same thing to other people. So you are basically spreading false information. So that stuff really triggers me and just makes me angry. I'm like, okay, there are facts, but but again, yeah, there's also the whole thing that letting it go, picking your battles. That's something that I'm working on.
Okay, so we've heard the final toxic traits. Now I'm gonna open it up to any person that wants to talk about one of them and just give that person advice on how you feel they can improve, and that'll be the end for today. So let me see who's hand. Anybody's hand up? Anyone want to give my guy Jamie some advice? All right, I'm gonna give Jamie some advice personally. That self-fear, I'm trying to figure out where that stems from, because even though it's self, it's something created that fear in you. Because I find that naturally, for example, if you were a child and you seen, I'm pretty sure every child has been in this situation once before. If you've seen the oven, and the oven it glows when it's on, when it's heated, it turns red, and it's ooh, red, and you want to touch it. Me as a kid, I was in that situation where I seen it and I want to touch it, and my mom was like, no, don't touch it, you'll burn yourself. But as a kid, it's you don't understand what that even means. What do you mean you'll burn myself? So I touched it. Now I'm not touching the oven, when it's on, because something triggered that fear, So it's I'm trying to figure out what has triggered this self-fear in you that you find it to be a toxic trait. Is there any is there what do you fear the most?
I wouldn't say it's something that happened where it could be just for example, heights. I'm afraid of heights, right? I've never fallen from somewhere far. I just don't like heights. I just don't know what will happen, right? It's the unknown that someone could be afraid of, where I could be because I don't know what's gonna happen next. I have that self-fear, I'm not gonna do it because I don't know what's gonna happen.
Yeah, I hear you. Okay, so there.
So on a personal side, if it's a fear of something personal that or life-wise, if it's something bigger than just heights, right? I feel sometimes you just gotta take the risk, sometimes you just gotta take that decision or something, because it's if it's something you haven't experienced before, maybe you gotta experience it in order to know for yourself that that's actually something I shouldn't do again. For example, just a simple example, it's when I was getting my MacBook, a lot of people were oh, MacBooks aren't good, you should get this, you should get that, right? But then at the end of the day, I wouldn't know if I like a MacBook until I get one and I use it in order to experience it and see if I like it or not, if it fits my taste or not, right? So yeah, hopefully that's a good example. And then going to what Alia was talking about, I feel she kind of answered it herself, but I feel there's just a lot of people out there with a lot of different opinions, and a lot of people who don't want to change their opinions, right, and stick by them. I would say narrow-minded, right? So like you said, pick your battles, because there's no point in helping someone change their opinion or fixing someone's mindset when they don't want to fix it and they don't want to give you the openness of trying to fix their mistake. You know what I mean? If they don't want to be educated, there's no point in wasting your energy and your time in educating someone that just doesn't give it, give anything. Just doesn't give. Okay, that's it. That's all I wanted to say.
Okay, I hear that. All right, we had two more toxic traits we have to quickly address. I think Alia said that she just gets irate sometimes or angry when she argues with certain people, and this might be something that crosses over into like other conversations or areas in her life. Does anybody have any advice for her, like how she can calm down, like techniques that you feel like will help her to be able to communicate her side, or even listen to somebody else's side without like feeling the need to prove them wrong or anything? I think somebody uses Lisa. There we go.
Hi. I understand the frustration that comes from listening to other people misrepresent facts, especially to people that don't know better. But honestly, it might not be the best thing to do, in my opinion, but I kind of become condescending instead of upset. It's a better alternative, but it's not the best response. Yeah, that's it. And also, they might have a valid point, so it's just like listen first. So yeah.
All right, my fault. I seen JQ put his hand up. So jump right into him.
Yeah. For people like it depends on what you get upset for. But if someone just says something that can trigger you, obviously it's always easier said than done to deal with stuff like this. It's a process, right? So I don't want to make it seem like, and for everyone too, like we're giving advice like you can just do this and it's just going to change. It's not going to change overnight. It's always a process. But for the who gets upset? I forgot who it was.
Yeah.
Leah. Something that I've always lived by was he who angers you owns you. So if someone can get you upset like that, that means they can control you. That's something that works for me. I live by.
Those are very wise words. And Elia, I have the same situation. There's certain people in this world that they just know how to get me like off, and I black out like when I'm mad. Like I don't know what I said, I don't know what I did. If we got into a fight, I don't know like what. I just remember after like, oh shoot, I did that. Like I know it was me, but I don't know what brought me to that point. So trying to figure out what are like some of the alarms before you get to that point. So I know when I'm about to like black out, so I try to take myself out of the situation. I try to change my environment, switch the topic. I'll just leave. Like I don't even like arguing with people. I've never argued with a guy before in my life. I've been in a lot of like fist fights and stuff like that, but that's not the way to solve the issue because it never really does get solved. You end up fighting again and again, and people just get hurt. So now it's like I just remove myself from the situation completely. If the vibe is not in my favor, I'm leaving. And I found it's helped me be more peaceful, and it's helped me from being in a lot of confrontations. And I think you're on mute, so you can, rebuttal in any way.
Yeah, I was just waiting for you to finish. I agree with what all of you said. It took me some time, and like I didn't really understand it until like JQ put it into words that it's people. Because I realized around certain people, I'm fine. Like I don't feel the need, because it has to be that sense of mutual respect. Because there is mutual respect present. You're listening, they're listening, they're stating their opinion, even though it's different from mine, entirely different, but in a respectful manner. So that makes a huge difference as well.
I hear you, and I agree. Wise words.
Thank you all for the advice, though.
Yeah, and I hope you can use it. I'm gonna use it. Like even a lot of things that you guys all said that is like, oh shoot, that's me too. Like I have more than one toxic trait, but it's like, how can I use somebody else's experience to better my own? And I believe that's the only true way to unlock or understand wisdom, by being able to learn from somebody else's shoes. It doesn't necessarily have to be me that's going through that situation right now, but I might encounter something like that. But because I was paying attention to what others are saying, it's like, okay, they gave me the answer for this moment, and how can I use that? So the final toxic trait we're gonna go over, and we're gonna wrap up everything, is that Rare said that she finds herself to be too accessible to people, and that burns her out. And that happens to me a lot too, where it's like I'm always being accessible to other people, and the energy is not mutual, but know when to give and when to say no. Like I'm learning for the first time in my entire life, like there's actually nothing wrong with being selfish. Like I always thought there was some sort of negative connotation around being selfish, but it's like when you're protecting your peace and your mental health, it's like you're not being selfish. You're actually doing what's best for you to be able to continue on in life. So sometimes you just have to say no. Sometimes you have to be mean, but just the correct amount of mean. Like, you know, you don't have to go too far where you're like, you know, now you're being rude and you're getting it's out of pocket, it's out of hand, and now you get, you know, big argument. It's just no. Like, and I find like yesterday was my one day off. Like, I've been going crazy doing things all March. It is March 22nd. Yesterday was the first day I was like, honestly, I don't want to do nothing. I don't want to drive. I've been getting home at like late hours. Regina George mean? Nah, not Regina George mean. She mean. I'm talking like me mean, you know, like where I'm the nicest guy ever, but I'm kind of mean. But what's it called? So I didn't want to go anywhere yesterday. My mom wanted me to, you know, to run all her errands for her, and I was like, all right. I kept saying yes. So it got to a point where I realized it was like 12 in the morning. I started doing errands for her at 1 p.m. I lost my entire day, and now I'm here. I've been doing stuff all day since like 8 in the morning. But,
oh my god!
You know what I mean? Like, it's like I'm actually upset with myself that I didn't get a day off. You know, so it's like what I have to figure out how to say no. I'm trying to say no to her, and I'm trying to show her like it's not fair to me that on the one day I don't want to do anything, you want me to do everything for you, and I always do everything for you. So
I'd honestly pass it off to one of my other siblings if you have any. Be like, I'm busy, but
required driving, that's me, you know? And it's like,
oh, yikes.
I don't know why she feels the obligation. She's my mom, you know what I mean? So it's like, you know, but it's like, I don't know why you feel the obligation to tell me what to do with my car that I bought myself to do what I need to do. And when I wanted a car, you didn't want to help me. You know what I mean? So now that I have one, you feel the entitlement that you don't deserve. But you're my mom, so you deserve some sort of thing. You know, I want to help you, but it's like on the one day I want it for myself.
Yeah, maybe she's pushing it. Maybe it's just kind of just being like, letting her know, like, hey, I'm kind of at my limit. Like, my mom be ask me to do all the same things too, but I'm like, listen, today I am exhausted. If you want to help me, you can make me some fresh bread and some fresh lemonade or something, you know. And any other day, I will get back to you and help you.
Yeah, I feel like honest conversation, like, and being just straight up, you know, because the exact same happens to me, right? It's so hard to say no, especially when it's your mom and like when you're the one that's supposed to drive and things like that. But like just honestly telling them how you feel is just like the best way to just get rid of the situation, because you're just gonna have these thoughts like, I just want this one day, da da da. But then like she wouldn't know unless you tell her, right? So, because you do have your own life, you do your own things, you work, and it's not like she knows everything, right? But then if it's your day off and you just want that day off to yourself, it's just better to just straightforward tell her honestly, right? Be like, hey mom, like, I'm just not feeling it today. I really want to rest because my day off, and like, see where it goes from there. She should understand.
My fault. I don't want you to continue going, and I can't really hear you.
Me?
Yeah.
Stop the cab. You hear me now?
Kinda, I didn't know if there was a way for it to improve. Alright, if you can just speak closer to the mic at least, then
Or type it in the chat.
No, I know you said stop the cap, but like, it's not for me, it's for the recording,
Honesty is the best tool ever. I'm sorry, but it's worked for me.
Yeah, it works. But
not saying what works for me is gonna work for everyone, but I'm just saying, like, sometimes honesty is just the best way you can like get out of a situation or explain a situation.
My fault. Drew, could you finish your last point? Unless you're done.
You can hear me now?
I can hear you.
Yeah. Nah, I'm gonna keep it short. Parents, their view for us is different. So for them to understand, they'd have to like legit sit down and think about when they were young, which that is even a whole different time, a whole different time. So it's really hard for a parent to understand, because now when they hear you that you're tired, they're gonna compare, when I was this age, I was doing this, that, and before. But now times are different. Like, I feel like it's just really hard to communicate, especially when it comes to mental health. I feel like parents don't take that as serious as we do. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it can get really complicated to explain and express yourself to your parents. It can get hard, man. But I get what you're saying. Definitely talk to them, but it's a good attempt. And if it works, that's really good. But damn.
I hear you stuff. Lisa, go do your diligence.
Okay, this is gonna be quick, but a lot of the times we have to understand that there's consequences to everything. So whether you speak up or not, there's going to be a consequence of it. But at least you spoke up, and 9 times out of 10, it's not even that bad. So think about it that way.
I hear that. Anybody else have any final remarks before I wrap up this week's episode? You can just unmute and go.
I don't know. I guess stay safe, stay blessed, stay healthy.
All right. Now, this one, I wanted to keep this for myself. All right. So I think I know what I'm gonna do for next week's podcast. I think I'm gonna do a guys versus girls or a men versus women podcast, just to see the perspective. But I want to throw out here this is going to be a question. I'm guessing I'm throwing on my devil advocate hoodie because I like to cause controversy. So I want to say that women are the more selfish of the two genders. I think women are completely selfish. I don't know why. I'll explain myself next episode. I just wanted to drop that gem on the people, but yes, and I don't mind. You know what I mean? So she might agree. Somebody else might say no, men are or whatever. So I'm gonna do a men versus women podcast. And I just wanted to end this segment by saying women are selfish, just to have a little controversy going into next week. All right. So I want to thank every person that is a part of this episode of self-improvement. We got Alia, we got JQ, we got Jerome, we got Lisa, Rare, Sarah, Steve, Talir. Shout out Bambo for doing everything behind the scenes. The man is recording everything. So, shout out myself. You know what I mean? Self-improvement, self-awareness. Self-appreciation. All that. So shout out Kai as well. Because I can be more than one person or something like that. So I'm gonna say shout out to Kai. This is not Kai no more. And I want to thank you guys for being. You guys' faces are killing me. Yo. All right. I hope that everything that was said, we all take into consideration, and we've found a way to help each other in some way improve our toxic traits or just improve as an individual. And any person watching this, if you have any questions you want to ask any of us, go ahead. Or something you want to throw onto the show that maybe you don't want to be on it or you want to ask, let me know. Let I'll be in Boys and Girls Club page know, let Bambo know, let Steve know, and we'll get on it.